Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a motherfucking smack at it. Bye, bye. In a menudo style in direct fashion, we're going to get straight to the content of the day. But before we do, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that the gun is kicking. And I appreciate the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So D can't got him.
Hey, homie, they got you, homie. They fucking got you, Mickey Mouse. Now you're in trouble. Now what? Now what? Touch it, touch it, touch it.
Oh, they're definitely going to touch it, right? D Kane allegedly gets caught with the switch. Right now, I know this happened about a week ago, man. And I didn't pay no attention to it because who pays attention to guys with mushroom heads? I don't. You know, I'm not Wes Watson. Mushroom heads are not what I wake up thinking about. But I will tell you this. This guy, D Kane, is in trouble. Now, first of all, you know, he allegedly gets caught for an attempted assault or an assault case, and they catch him with a cuete, a gun, with a switch. Now, I'll tell you right now, ain't no stopping us, no stopping. There's no stopping, homie. Once they got you, they're going to get you. Once they get you, they got you. And it will be a Fed case. Absolutely. No, I hear a lot of people talking about, oh, he's going to go to the state, you know, in Texas, he's going to do some time and this and that. No, it's not the way it works. When there's a switch involved, that is a violation of a federal offense, and the feds are going to pick it up. He's going to have a Fed case. And I've never done time in the feds. I've only done time in state prisons, but I'm going to tell you right now, I hear the feds are worse. You know, now let's break down D Kane. D Kane got semi-famous on TikTok. He's a TikToker. He's a ticker-talker, right? And this guy blew up because of the way he acts, the way he looks, the way he talks. And I guess he's just, you know, the Edgar of all Edgars. He's King Edgar. And his hair just, look at his fucking hair, just keeps growing and growing and growing, but it grows sideways. It's a trip, right? I've never seen anyone's hair the long way, but his is, right? And he has a backward poof. And people gravitated towards this guy for whatever reason. I think at first they felt sorry for him. They were intrigued by someone being as stupid as they look. And then this guy got full of himself. He got ahead of himself. All 103 pounds of this guy, he felt like he was gangster. He started to get more and more tattoos. He started to act way more out of character. He started living in the TikTok world. Now, let me tell you about social media. Since I do a content creation, social media and the social media world is very, very explosive. It's very different than the real world. But let me tell you something. Sometimes social media world crosses over into the real world, and you have to deal with real world results. And now D Kane is going to have to deal with real world results because this bubble, this sparkly world that this man has lived in, or this boy, or whatever you want to call him, right, has lived in, has now his bubbles popped. Now he has to deal with real world repercussions for his actions. You know, running around with guns, with switches, allegedly, if that's the case, and running around thinking you're hard and getting 13s tattooed on your face and claiming gangs that don't claim you, you know, you're going to have to answer for those types of things, especially in prison. In a prison setting and situation, it's a serious matter. There are going to be people that walk up, run up, just glide up on D Kane and ask him why is he claiming a gang that doesn't claim him? Why does he have a 13 or a 13 on his forehead? What's the meaning of that? Is he willing to go all the way to back the play of that? Is he going to be accepted by the homies, right? Well, I'll tell you this. Unfortunately, the way it goes in a jail setting is it's a clean slate unless you're a weirdo. And we're going to get to the weirdo allegations with D Kane and all that too, because, you know, he's done some, he's a minor. He's done some weird shit, right? But just like anyone else, because I was asked, man, what will happen to D Kane in prison? Well, let me explain to you what will happen with D Kane in prison. First of all, you know, the first thing he needs to do is get rid of that Puff the Magic Dragon haircut he has. Get rid of that bullshit, because that draws nothing but negative attention. That is not intimidating. That is not a force to be reckoned with. There's probably piojos in it. Just get away from your matted ass puff you got going on, because that's going to draw negative attention and people are going to test his abilities based on that haircut. The Vault's looking like a oompa loompa doopity dee. Come in my cell and get on your knees, right? It's going to be all bad. So he doesn't want that attention. But what will happen? He is of Latino descent. So he will be the Latin's problems, meaning once he gets to prison, if he does ultimately go to prison, I know he's bailed out. I heard he bailed out or whatever, made bail. They're saying Lalo Brazy bailed him out. It's crazy because, sometimes you never know, man. The same dude that'll make fun of you and clown you and put you in awkward situations will be the same dude that got your back. Literally, it's real and it's weird, right? But so D. Kane goes to prison. And what happens? Well, the first thing that's going to happen is his own people, the Mexicanos, the Chicanos, the whatever the fuck this guy is, El Salvadorian, they're going to run up on him and they're going to ask him questions, man. They're going to want to see paperwork just like anyone else. He's no different from anyone else. Now, this is a smaller guy. So I know he's going to be scared and intimidated, but prison is prison. Okay? As long as you don't have no weird charges, as long as you're down for yours and you can carry your own weight and you're willing to defend the household, you shouldn't have no issues. Any issue that you have in prison is based on your character and what you do. Doesn't matter about size. I heard a lot of people, he's a little dude, he's probably going to get fucked. He just might, but it's not going to be because of his size. It's going to be because of the way he's acted in the past and the way he's acted while he's in there. Now, if he goes in there and he minds his own and he sticks with his people and he has a solid case and solid charges, there might be guys that take a liking to him. He's a little homie. Yeah, he's a little dude. Home's back his play. Then there might be, it depends on what yard he goes to. There might be some that say, man, I'm going to fuck the shit out of you, dude. Right? It just depends. Now, one thing I can say about the Latinos being one, right? They don't condone raping people and doing all that weird shit. That ain't going to happen because then that makes you a sexual predator, and it just doesn't work that way, right? So this guy, D. Kane, is not going to be ran upon and fondled and all that just because he's a small little guy. But, and this is a big but, when I say but, it involves your butt, so you might want to listen, D. Kane. There's a lot of people that label him the poster child for shenanigans and fakery. Okay, when you get tattoos on your face and you're trying to act tough and be tough, you better be tough. You better be willing and able to back up all the shit you've said in the past and what you represented, because it's a whole different world in prison and you got to stand on what you say. You got to stand on your word. Your word means something. Now, this guy's a TikToker. Everyone knows who he is and what he's about. There's a lot of people that assume he's a sucker, he's a punk, just because of things that we've seen in the past. But I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't know this guy from a bowl of cornflakes, right? And I just don't like the way cornflakes taste. But I'm going to tell you right now, this guy, D. Kane, has done some things in the past that make people really wonder, scratch their head. Got him confuzzled, D. Kane. I watched this man get his chain snatched up and give me my chain back.
Please, let me get my chain back.
This guy was running through the mall, chasing people for a chain, got punked all on the internet so many times, gets clowned on, and has been caught on multiple occasions fraternizing or conversing with little kids, young women, children. So that's not going to wear well in prison. That jacket right there is toe up. No one's going to respect it. Now, he's not been charged with any sexual offenses. He's not been convicted of anything like that. So really, at the end of the day, there's no paperwork that has ever said that this guy is doing weird shit, but there's a lot of video. And there's a lot of people with tablets and phones in prison that have watched this guy on multiple occasions, like I said, sit there and converse with minors. Does that weigh heavy on his shoulders? I'm sure it does. Imagine what D. Kane is going through thinking that he's going to prison, because he's fighting this case. And more than likely, he's going to the pen. He's finished. Okay, once he gets to prison, if anyone has seen the videos of him talking to minors or acting the way he acts, talking about he's feeling all sparkly and pinkish and all this, they're going to get sparkly in his asshole. He's going to have fucking sparkles running down his leg. Because what happens is, no one is going to want him to be a part of their carro, their ranfla, their people, if this guy is on some weird shit. They'll turn their back on you. They'll leave you to the wolves, and oh, don't run into Fleece Johnson because he will definitely Johnson and fleece you. You know, you'll get that Johnson & Johnson shot and have fucking blood clots in your legs. It'll be bad. It'll be upsetting. It'll be bad, but it will be what it is, because when you play big bad gangster and you fake something that people have made the ultimate sacrifice and died for, eventually your bullshit catches up to you. Now, running around with a gun with the switch, you know you weren't going to use it. I don't think D. Kane was going to use that. I think it was more so a prop for propaganda. You know, people automatically assume that if they have a cueta on them, a gun, it makes them tough. Guns don't block bullets. It's Wild Wild West. It's how quick you pull it. Now, why would you be wandering around if you're this semi-popular YouTuber or TikToker? Why would you be running around with the pistol? Now, I understand people say, "Oh, everyone runs around with a pistol nowadays." It's all about you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Not if you're not going to use it. Don't even have it on you if you're not going to use it, because this is the type of shenanigans and bullshit that happens. Now, there's a lot of people, oh, D. Kane's a real one, man. He was out there fucking putting in work. That's all it takes. You blow when that bottle fucking pushes. He falls. He's not that serious of an individual. Now, I don't take anyone lightly. Size doesn't matter. Character really does, though. Respect really does. And there's not going to be a lot of people that respect this guy in prison for one of two things. The first thing is what he claims, and is not really from that. Okay? When you're faking the funk, when you're pretending to be a gangster, you're going to run into some real gangsters that take that shit serious. This guy has a 13 on his forehead. There's a lot of guys in prison with 13s on them, and they really stand on that shit. It really means something to them. There's a big meaning behind that. Now, in the state of California, the state of Texas, it's a couple different things, right? But when you're putting symbolizations of certain organizations and groups on your body, you better know what you're signing up for and what it really means. You know, I've seen several interviews with D. Kane where he's like, oh, I know what it is. I'm not going to speak on it. Like he's hardcore, like he's not going to talk about politics. That vato was in the interrogation room just like this.
Right.
He was in that motherfucker hollering. I already know. But hey, you got caught with a switch, right? So don't switch it up. Stand on what you are. Stand on what you believe. You know, I want to tell a story real quick about an individual. Rest in peace, man. I just found out that he passed away. The honest to God truth is, when we were in the youth authority together, he wasn't intimidating at all. He was 100 pounds soaking wet with teeth like a shark. Looked like a goddamn piranha with fucking catfish eyes, right? Nobody respected him because he let us down in a riot our first day in Nellis, right? And he was by the toilet. It's scared. He was, and from that point on, he lost respect for me. Not because of his size or how ugly he fucking was, but because more so the way he carried himself, right? None of that would have counted, the way he looked or his haircut or any of that, if he would have just got down with the get down, because he had 14s and tattoos on him, which meant you got to fight for that shit and stand up for it. He didn't. So he forever lost my respect. And the whole time I gave him the blues, right? Unfortunately, I was an asshole, the type of person I was, because I felt disrespected. I felt let down. I felt like every homie should have the same mentality and rock the same way. He just wasn't cut from that cloth. Later on in life, come to find out, he actually did 25 years in prison, man, and got with the program, did his thing, right? Became a pastor, and ultimately has lost his life, right? And it's changed my way of thinking. I've changed as I've grown and I've become more mature and an older gentleman. You know, I gave blues to someone who needed me to lift him up, and I brought him down, right? Again, he didn't have no weird cases or nothing like that. He was scared. He was a youngster in a situation, and he was scared, man. I could have gave him a pass, and I didn't. And forever now, I have to lay my head on my pillow and think about him, and think about that, and think about how maybe if I motivated him a little bit and gave him guidance and a little bit of love and taught him, then maybe his life would have been a little bit different. You know, maybe he wouldn't have had to go through what he went through, which was unfortunately bad situations in the youth authority, man. Something no one should go through. Now, with D. Kane, I say that, I tell you guys that to say this. You know, a lot of people judge this guy on his size, on his looks, on his funny fucking haircut. I'm one of them, right? But even more so than that, it's the fact that this guy thinks his shit doesn't stink, thinks he's really somebody because he's a caricature, plays this character, this Edgar, this King Edgar character on TikTok, and is false claiming. He's false flagging, homie. He's stealing valor, right? That's kind of what irks me about him. And even more so, the fact that he's been caught on numerous occasions talking with minors. That right there to me is just blows my mind that anybody would ever stick up or think that this man is cool. He's done lost his Chicano credit card. Okay, he's like, hey, Chicano U-turn. He's lost it. He lost any type of respect he could have. And that means when he goes to prison, he's in trouble. He's finished. So how does that work out? Does that mean the Mexicans are going to get him? No, not necessarily. It means they're probably not going to fuck with them. And all that is because of the way he's acted, the colors he's displayed, what he's done. Now, don't get me twisted or don't get me wrong. He might go to a certain situation or a certain place where maybe guys look out for him. They feel sorry for him. But anyone who has any type of weird shit on their jacket, a weird case, and his is all on video talking to youngsters, he's going to be approached in a vicious manner. They're not going to take too kindly to that. No one likes that. Okay, so D. Kane is in trouble. He definitely is. How much time is he going to get for getting caught with the switch? I don't know his background. I don't know, his history, his record. It all depends on your record. It all depends on that day in court, right? But he's definitely going to go to prison. C-Mac went to prison and the gun didn't even work. Now, I know he has a little bit more of a record, and he got a little bit of a deal. So DK might not do as long as people are thinking he's going to do. But again, that all depends on the trial, the lawyer situation, what happens. I definitely believe he's going to prison. He's not going to get a slap on the wrist for getting caught with a switch. They're not playing about switches nowadays. They're not playing about getting caught with firearm. They just don't play, right? The state of Texas, like I said, it might be a state case, but I believe because of the switch, it's going to turn to a Fed case. That's just my belief. I might be wrong. What's going to happen in the state of Texas? Well, Carlos Coy's still running around there, but you got to understand he's in protective custody. He's kept separate. If D. King goes into the Texas prison system, I know them thongos, shout out to the thongos. If you ain't blasting, you ain't lasting, right? Ain't going to take too kindly for Puffhead and some of the stuff that he's been accused of in the past. We're going to see how sparkly he can get in prison. Does that mean he's a punk? Is D. Kane a punk because he's a little caricature, he talks slow and he's weird? I don't know. I don't know, man. He might not be a punk, but he might be scared of the situation. Hey, everyone's scared once upon a time in their life, right? But he should be. He should absolutely be treading on thin water or on thin ice and fall into the water because there's going to be guys there that don't like him because of the way he acts and his faking the funk. Now, just because you get caught with a gun doesn't make you a gangster. Nuh-uh. Not at all. There's nothing about getting caught with a gun that makes you a gangster. In fact, most people that carry them, and I'm going to be honest with you, they do it because they're in fear of their lives or they're fearing something. Because most grown men that got guns are not going to show them. They're not going to carry them. They're going to use them when they need to use them. Not because they want to use them, but because they need to use them. Okay? Walking around with the gun, with the switch, and trying to act tough with tattoos all over your face, shit in your pants, and a puffed out haircut doesn't mean you're a gangster. What it means is you were in a situation where you felt scared, or you wanted to act cool. People that carry guns and show them off, man, that's not cool. It never has been. You got it. You don't show everyone what you got. Keep your motherfucking ace up your sleeve. That's it. And when you need to shoot it. Or don't. D. Kane's finished, though. I believe if he goes to prison, he's going to get a little chunk of time, and it's not going to be beautiful for him. It's not going to be sparkly or confuzzly. What it's going to be is hard time. And yes, size does matter. When people say, size don't matter, no matter how you be. Look you're not going to be able to fight nothing off weighing 100 pounds. They're going to hold you down, and it's going to get strange. Accept it, man. Accept it like you accept the barber fucking your hair up every time that you go there. Just accept the reality. And the reality is that when you fake the funk and act gangster, you're always going to have to come into contact with real gangsters. And then that's when it gets ugly, especially when you're making light of gangs like MS and these gangs that have really established themselves in federal prisons and prisons across the world, man. You think you're going to go in there and they're just going, this is a camarada, this is a homeboy, we're going to back him up. Nah, bro. They're going to say, why were you talking to that 16-year-old, you weirdo? That's what's going to happen, and it's going to get ugly before it gets pretty, before it gets sparkly. With that being said, let me know what you guys think. Is he done? Or is he going to go in there super gangster and come out and prove everyone wrong? If I had to bet money on it, I'd give him at least 2 months before he gets fucked. That's it, straight up. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly and honestly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people. This is the gun. Bang, bang.